Hello, hello. Robin says, hi, Peggy. Can't stay. Just popping in to wish you a happy holiday. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to anybody who's popping in and can't stay. And Linda may be eating, but I'm glad you were on because my birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday. Happy soon-to-be birthday. That'll work. Will that work? Oh, come on. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. There we go. Okay. Okay. I am just getting some stuff done. I've had this sitting for a while I work on other projects. It's for hi Moira. I've had this sitting for a while. It's for standard pocket pouches. So I'm not doing anything super special today. I just thought I'd come in and hang out. I'm just gonna be matching these up. This is upright for me, and I always sew the seam starting here. So I'll just go over straight to the machine. I am just trying to get a bunch of these done. I've had this cut and basted for a while. I stopped to work on the quilt for my son. That's finally done. Of course, I've done it and I put it in a box and taped the box shut. So then it's like I forgot to wait so I could show you guys. So yeah, I'm just doing pocket pouches today. I've got this batch of standard pocket pouches, and then I'm going to be doing another batch using all the glow in the dark material. I've got glow in the dark everything else except for not everything, but I got a bunch of glow in the dark already. But I baked cookies all day long. Oh, I wish I could be at your house. No, you know what? If I was at your house right now, I'd probably be halfway to a diabetic coma. I love cookies, especially fresh. You put a plate of fresh baked cookies in front of me, and I'm not stopping until I'm full. It's like bad. So, yeah. I just thought I'd come on, hang out for a little bit. And then from there, just say hi. Don't forget to wish Linda a happy birthday. Her birthday is tomorrow. My birthday was, when was my birthday? My birthday was the 14th. So my birthday was what, a week and a half ago? Anyway. Yeah, we got all our Christmas. We got all our Christmas sorted out, and our Christmas is we ain't doing fuck all. It's gonna be nice. We're just gonna hang out. We're gonna hang out, maybe watch a movie. We're ordering Chinese food. We're not even. Well, cookies are insanely addictive. Sugar is addictive. I am a Sagic Crabby ass. Yes, I am. No, we didn't even decorate. We didn't even decorate this year. It's like, you know what? And it's not like we're not feeling it. It's just that now there's no kids, and it's different, and we've kind of reached this anti-commercial stage. Most of the people, except for the kids, most of the people that we socialize with are not in this area. Traveling is expensive, so we're not going anywhere. But we're like amazingly good with it. This kind of stuff, when you get a fabric like this that's actually supposed to go this way, it's really hard to decide which one you want your top and your bottom to be. But let's see. That one pops out nicely from the top. Basically, oh, there's some birds. There's a bird. That bird's upside. These two birds are upside right. So that's going to be the top. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. If you ever decide that you're going to try something like this, start with, this is all directional fabric that I have out today. Start with something basic that doesn't really have a direction. Because there's no worse feeling than I did it all. I did it right. I followed the instructions. Oh shit, it's upside down. Right? But like, of course, I'm like looking around as if I can hold up an example. Any fabric that doesn't really have a direction, any fabric that doesn't have a direction, or if you're gonna pick a fabric, like this one. Like this fabric the direction's really clear which way is up. So as long as you start it from the right direction, you know you're going to be fine. This one here's a border. This one here's a piece of border fabric, and it's meant to go up and down. So when you're turning it sideways to do something with it, it's not quite as obvious where your top and bottom are. And sometimes you have to arbitrarily decide based on features that are with. I had to decide top and bottom based on features that are within the fabric. So when you're looking at a fabric that's like that, mind you, if you don't care, you don't care. For what I'm doing, because I ask all the wonderful people of the internet to give me money, because I sell these, I want my up and down to be consistent, which is why it matters. If you were just doing this for yourself if you're just doing this for yourself and you're making a pocket pouch out of it, if you do it in the upside down, then is my living room at night aglow with glow-in-the-dark fabrics? It can be, yeah, because I've got a bunch of it sitting out right now. So we turn off the lights and it's like, oh shit, there's little glowy spots everywhere. But yeah, if you have to decide on arbitrarily up and down, then either do a project where it's not going to matter, like a reading cloth, or whatever. But if you're doing it to sell, this is the pro tip of the day. If you're sewing to sell, which this is going in the shop, if and when I ever get a chance to reopen it, if you're sewing to sell, make sure you're consistent with which way is up, so that when you have something that opens, it always opens in the same direction. Because I would be pretty pissed if everything I got opened to the left and then suddenly something opened to the right. I'd be like, that doesn't. If you're the kind who cares about the aesthetics, then it would really be annoying. Anyway, for these, it doesn't really matter. If you do it in the opposite direction, then your bag just stores in whichever direction happens to be up when you're done. But yeah, I finished the quilt for John. You know what? I should go get it. I should go get it and show you guys, because it turned out really nice. I'm gonna go get it. We dropped it in a box. I can open the box. I can reseal the box. Let me go get it. And show you. Make sure things are out of the way so I don't knock nothing over. Be right back. Look, I'm opening up a present of my own making. Put away the good one, the really sharp one. Take out the thicker, heavier one. Come on, you can do it. These make great tape cutters. Do that. Up, down. Hello, Trish. I'm going to open this first. Postal strike is over for now. I'm not going back until the end of January. That's the punchline. So, I'm just going to reseal the box. We're good. So this is done. Get out of the way. You get completely out of the way. So this is done. I made a couple of changes. Let's get over here. Let's get this camera pointed correctly. I'll show off the quilt. That'll give me a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. So that's the quilt. It got done. So what we're looking at with the quilt, what I ended up doing here, I had the was going to do one of this right here. I was going to do one of this central mushroom, and I was going to put mushroom in each corner as well. But we kind of realized that for sizing and for speed, being able to go faster, It was easier to just leave this one empty. And John's not going to care. This is every single bit of the blue here like glows in the dark. The white glows brightest, and then the blue glows a little bit less. We tried to get photos of it, but it doesn't quite photograph properly. It never does. Glow in the dark stuff never does. So I put it on this for the back, that for the front. I got it done. I call it double stuff. I don't know what the term for it is, but I made the edging here extra thick. So yeah, so we got it done. I got it done. Lisa helped me with a couple of small things, and I'll get you out a sample. I'm going to bring over a sample of what I used. It's going to take about 2 seconds to crush it back into the box and seal it down. So we used the inexpensive polyester batting instead of the heavier. This is thicker, so it gives you more squishability. It makes it very like poofy. We use this as the batting instead of flannelette or proper batting. So it's going to be a nice light blanket, which means that can be used year round. But yeah, this is the batting that we're using. I've been really liking this one because my shoulder was bugging me a bit. I don't know what the deal is with my shoulder. I kind of hurt my shoulder last year. And ever since then, it's like I've got a touch of arthritis in it now or something. It's like the universe going, oh, it hurts. Let's make it keep hurting. But anyway, so that's the batting that I used. This is a really nice batting to use because it didn't make it so heavy that it was like work to get it through the machine, because I did the whole thing. On this machine, right? But yeah, I got it done pretty quick. It went together pretty well once it started going together. I wanted to come back and do part of it on camera, but it just kind of gets puffy and fluffy and all over the place and causing a problem. So yeah, postal strike is over. So Canadian shops are slowly but surely coming back on. Well, the ones that anybody who relied on Canada Post is slowly but surely coming back online. But I'm looking at the news. I'm looking at the news that is saying. The news is basically saying that we can expect issues and delays going up to the end of January. And it's like, I don't need it. I don't need the drama. On Etsy, because that's where I do all my selling from, on Etsy. Well, I'm going to be here for a couple hours. I'll take the time to explain. But when you set up an online account to sell stuff on the interwebs, when you're setting up your shipping, because you have to set up how your shipping is going to work. Even eBay, they all make you do it, right? Etsy hasn't even turned Canada Post back on as a shipping option. So it's like, which I can bypass that if I want to by going through another shipper. I don't know. But the strike ended last Friday. When did the strike end? Last Monday. So the strike ended a week ago. People selling on Etsy still can't select Canada Post as their shipping option. So it's like, there's way too many delays in the system. The delays are causing problems, and there's a legal requirement. I am just making pocket pouches, standard size pocket pouches. The Federal Trade Commission in the U.S. and the Canada, one of them is anti-competition, something. Anyway, there's a lot of regulations. There's a lot of rules and regulations about what you are and aren't allowed to do when you're trying to work through shipping issues. It's not a big deal. It doesn't affect me. It's not going to affect me. But there's a lot of people, there's a lot of online sellers that have been trying to find shortcuts and workarounds that are now screwed because they immediately, yeah, there's no point in opening if you don't have to with all the delays that will happen. That is my punchline. Everything else is just me gossiping. That is my punchline. We already know that there's going to be delays. We already know that the delays are going to be going on into New Year's. We don't know how far into the new year. So with that being the case, I'm just not worried about it. We're also, I guess I don't know how to express this part, but with the Etsy group that I run a group called Etsy Canada. I've mentioned it before. And with some of the stuff that people are starting to encounter because they've been spending, they've spent the last month of the strike trying to look at workarounds, or, and this has been happening, they announced, oh, strike's over as of Monday. They're going to be back on the job Tuesday, taking new mail by Wednesday. People literally open their shops back up, or people that have been hanging on to mail, they're rushing in trying to get their shit into the mail, and Etsy's not letting them select. Etsy is not letting them select Canada Post as a shipper. If you don't have an account yourself, it's hard to describe. But when you're doing all of your stuff, you like when you're trying to enter your tracking, if you don't have a tracking number and can't prove that you sent it, then you could be opening yourself up for problems if there's a problem, right? Well, now these guys are like, okay, I just took 20 orders and now I'm trying to print my postage labels, but I can't select Canada Post. Well, how do I fix it? It's like, I'm staying out of that. I am not interested in getting caught up in a last minute thing because I didn't think ahead, right? But again, we're comfortable, we're fine. And for any, and I'm not lying. Like, I mean, we just got the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter, the strike started. The Kickstarter, the money, blah blah blah. The funding from the Kickstarter showed up by like week 2 of the strike. I forget exactly what day. I'd have to ask Lisa. So it's like, if we're not. I mean, no matter how you plan your Kickstarter, unless you are a very, very, very determined nonprofit, there is profits. We did get some profit from the Kickstarter. So it's like, oh, okay, well, we're just going to make sure that there's enough set aside. Lisa sent me enough. Lisa said, well, the Kickstarter made this much. I'm going to send you this much. So now I've got extra cash in my account to cover anything that might come up, like to make sure the car payments are taken care of and stuff like that. It's like, I know, Peggy's Finances 101. It's one of those things. Technically nobody's business, but I want you guys to be reassured that we are not suffering at all. The Kickstarter, even if there was the possibility, which there wasn't, I mean, this is a glorified hobby that I can afford to take time off from to begin with. Even if there's a chance that something might come up, there's nothing that's going to come up that I have to worry about because the Kickstarter funding showed up. So, and like when I make the car payment, that's it. So when my financial needs are $500 a month, I don't have to worry about much. As a I-based situation. So anyway, yeah, there's going to be a lot of missing. There's already a lot of missing packages. There's packages that are showing up damaged. Don't forget, I'm sending fabric. I stick this in the mail for you, and it gets delayed and delayed and delayed. Yeah, the Kickstarter made a profit, so we're fine. Even for anybody who might think, oh, I think, I hope they're fine. I hope this, I hope that. The Kickstarter did make us a small profit. And so that's going to offset, that is going to very conveniently offset any possible losses. Why is that camera so dark and that camera so bright? Are you guys noticing that? Any possible losses from the shop are going to be offset by the small profit we made on the Kickstarter. So we're good. Anyway, like I said, it's that over explanation thing it's the over explaining that you do and you want to assure somebody, no, I'm fine and I can prove it, right? But anyway, yeah. See, this is another one where you could get I don't know what is going on with my lighting. This camera is really dark. And it shouldn't be. See, now it's fine. Something's not. That's a little better. But yeah, so like I said, it's that over-explaining you do when you're trying to reassure somebody, but we're fine. We're fine. Okay, so anyway, back to gossiping though. So basically, yeah, that goes that way. So basically, so many people are engaging in so much bullshit to try and protect their and I totally get the temptation for some of these people, because for some of these people, they are making enough money that it's now what's paid. That it's. I can imagine what my attitude would be if for some reason if the shop was making enough money and for some reason it was our only source of income, blah, 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 right? But the things people are doing is fucking crazy. And that is some of what people are doing actually falls under the category of fraud. And it's like, and they don't realize it. Nobody is trying to commit fraud. Nobody is trying to engage in bait and switch. Nobody is trying to break the rules, but they are, and they don't know it. One of the things that was starting to happen, people were like, oh, I got the order. They left their shops open, right? I'm going to go ahead and mark your order as shipped so that you don't get penalized by Etsy, right? But I'm going to hang on to it till the strike's over. There are people who literally have hundreds of packages that they have marked as shipped that they now have to put into the system all at once. So Etsy is going to be some of the shenanigans, some of the bullshit and shenanigans. This one's cute. I really like this fabric, but once the bag is done, it's going to be like that. So you're not necessarily, but it's still a cute fabric. I gotta find some sort of a project to use this fabric with where it's more. Oh, that's not cut yet. This is not. Oh, it's only partially cut. Anyway, the shit and shenanigans. I do not need to be caught up in that, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing. Hi, Tammy. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot of people getting caught up in shit and shenanigans. And I don't want to get caught up in the middle of that. So I'm just going to wait till the end of January, relax, enjoy my vacation. I'm still making stuff like, extra stuff for the shop, extra quilts, extra things that make fun for me. I actually did some real sewing. I had a pocket. You know how your pockets, especially on jeans, you know how eventually they start to thin out and start to get holes in them. I had a hole to fill, so I did. I don't do. Yeah, it's a cat. It's a cat, and then the other one's a squirrel. This is going to be on the top of the pile. Yeah, when this one's done, though, the cat will be partially obscured, which is just depends on where the fabric cuts, but it's still really cute. But now, mind you, if you really like the squirrel, you're going to get most of him. So, but wait a second. Did I line this one up right? Did I do this correctly? Once that's done, we're going to go like that. Okay, so once that's done and the flaps open, you should be able to see most of the cat. We'll find out. We will find out. Sometimes, I'll tell you right now, sometimes you just got to take a chance and hope that what you're doing is going to end up being the way you want it. So I'm going to cut all these. Then I'm going to iron them open. I'm going to bring that all the way back. I brought this over here so I could keep chatting while I'm ironing when I'm back there doing that. But yeah. So anyway, I stayed. That was one of the reasons why I stayed completely out of it. It's like I am not going to try to find ways to ship. I could have found a. I don't know. Well, okay. You know what? It's up to the person buying something to decide whether or not it's affordable, right? I could have found. I had a couple of shipping options to ship to the States, but it was still going to be more than what I do now. As it is, they've already announced. They haven't announced what the prices are going to be yet, but they've already made it crystal clear that we're getting a jump in postal prices, and that it's probably going to be pretty shitty. We'll to see how that turns out. But yeah. So anyway, so the postal strike is what's on everybody's mind. I'm staying out of it. There's a lot of, for me personally, a lot of the stuff that I'm encountering. Oh, folklore decks. Yeah, I should think about that. I've got more of that fabric. I've got more of that fabric. What I did was I just went through. This was a stash that I already had pre-cut. So that's one thing that I've been working on since this whole mess started, was going through and figuring out where, like digging up all the old stuff that's been, not old, but yeah, digging up all the stuff that's been sitting in the back. That's been, I probably pulled this out, got partway. I probably pulled this out, cut it, got half of it used up, and then realized I needed to switch over to do something else, and then didn't get back to this half. And so I'm pretty much slowly but surely going through and finding all my little piles of stash here and there and everywhere. Like, my God, it's crazy. I literally found this under a pile of fabric that was sitting over there. It's like, I was supposed to turn this into bags 6 months ago. So I'm catching up and all that stuff. It's actually turning out to be, taking this break is actually turning out to be really good for me. I got a lot of, I don't want to call it backlog, but when you do anything in large volumes, you build up piles of stuff that you just, I need to move on. I need to move on to this for one reason or another. I'll come back and finish that later, right? So now I'm finishing all of that. So this is really simple. I just have to iron it open so that I can get it folded and do my other stuff and get it going. I've just got my walking foot on it right now. I am over. I don't know if you guys are going to be, I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to hear me, but anyway, what else is going on? Other than that, we don't have much else happening. Nothing else is going on. We're not doing anything for Christmas. Like, there's no kids in the house. Like, my youngest kid is 31 now. So it's like, nobody needs it. Nobody wants anything. Nobody needs anything. So we're just not doing anything, which is kind of nice. We're not even going to try. We might see what we can do towards figuring out. We're seeing John Christmas Day. And yeah, we're just going to chill. We're just going to hang out and order Chinese food, and that's going to be it. But like, there's no girlfriends, there's no kids, there's no extended family for either of us around here. There's no extended family. And it's not a big deal, and it's not a big problem, but it's like all the things that we like about Christmas, like driving around, seeing the lights, we can do that. We've already been doing that. We haven't made it to a Christmas market, but there's nothing wrong with the Christmas markets. We don't want anything. So we actually went out to the mall just to look around. Okay, let's do some window shopping, see if there's anything that catches our attention. Not one thing. Because of the things that we saw, it's like, oh, I've already got 5 of those. I don't need those. So yeah, it's actually been really nice. I think when you're in a situation where the kids are all grown up and stuff like that, I think you spend the first little bit of time going, but this isn't right. We should fix it. And we're past that stage. It's like, dude, we don't fucking care anymore. We should just enjoy our day. is that doing that? So I just like, now that the iron's hot enough, can you guys still hear me with my back turned? I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. I'm just going to be ironing for a few minutes. Let's move the camera so you guys can actually like see the ironing as it happens. Because that's exciting, don't you know? Don't forget to wish Linda a happy birthday. It's her birthday tomorrow. She's watching, but I think she said she was eating her lunch or dinner. She's doing dinner. Anyway, enough about me. What are you guys doing? Who's doing like what kind of like just because we're doing the bah humbug thing? What's everybody else doing? Because I know that just because we're not doing anything doesn't mean that nobody else is allowed to. So who's doing fun stuff? Who's doing fun, exciting things? Oh, thanks. Yeah, my birthday was last week. Last week, my birthday was the 14th. I want to do that. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4. That's. I have to set this one. I have to set this one aside. I got to figure out what I'm doing because I want the thread. I don't know whether I want to have black thread showing on the front or light thread showing on the back yet. I haven't decided. But that one's going to go over there for now. It'll get done. No worry. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I could still finish it first. It doesn't matter. It won't matter until I get to the top stitching phase. Okay. Two more. Okay, one more. I'm going to take that one off the bottom. Oh, that's okay. Oh, I've only got 3 more. I'm going to do the last 3. Everybody. I've gone and gotten myself super sick, so now I'm missing out on all my family's Christmas stuff. Oh, that sucks. You know what? That like really sucks. It's one thing. It's one thing if you're making a decision like we are. It's another thing when the universe makes a decision for you. That blows that you can't do anything fun. I'm just going to finish the last ones because there's only 3 left anyway. And I want to get that cat one, see how that one is lining up. I wonder if I have any more of it. How come? I said I've got 3 left. Now I've got 2 left. It's like, this is weird. This is getting weird. Okay. Now the last one. And I'm going to leave that light one over there. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. I've already been over here for 4 hours. I might as well finish it. There's that one. There. Now I can turn the iron off. Lisa is working. Let me see. Oh yeah, summer, right? Summer. It's summer where you live. It's actually kind of warm here. We haven't really kicked in. Vancouver doesn't really get a winter, but we usually get a certain time of the year where it starts getting cold, and we never quite know when it's going to start. Hasn't really kicked in yet though, so we're fine. But yeah. Hey, Elf. My loyal subject, Elf. Okay. Yeah, I like to do that. I like to run the iron because it gets so hot in this little corner. I like to have the iron going. I like to have the iron going separately. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. That's why. Okay. So these are standard. I have a little cheat sheet right there. I always check my little cheat sheet. 4.75. Can you hand sew an entire quilt? You absolutely can. There are several ways to hand sew an entire quilt. Some people will buy a if you're hand sewing to put your top pieces together, that part's fine. Once you're ready to put your top and your batting and your back together, some people actually like build a frame, make a frame, do a thing. They'll find ways to hold everything. They'll find ways to hold everything nice and straight. I've seen people like roll. I've seen people talk about. I've never done it myself because I'm lazy. Rolling everything up onto a pool noodle or something to keep it like manageable. So then they just go across. But yeah, you can absolutely do it. And there's several ways to do it. We got to get 4.75. You got to make sure that your folds are consistent. Did I fuck this up? No, something went wonky and off-centered here. This is why I cut big and come down. One of the things with this is like when I'm cutting the fabric, I already know how much waste I'm going to have. I just leave the waste in place. Let me just go over there. Hold that. Do that. Lisa calls it origami. Do that. Do that. If you guys want the dimensions, I can give you that right now. Because you start off with a piece of interfacing that is 7.5 inches wide by 13 inches long, right? Let me just go through what I've done so far. So you iron a piece of interfacing that is 17.5 inches wide by 13 inches long onto whatever you want your outside to be, right? Then you sew the two together, which I've already done. You sew the two together, which I've done, onto your backing, pretty sides together, okay? Just make sure that, especially like on a fabric like this where you can see through the fabric to what's on the side, make sure you're lining up your interfacing exactly where you want your stuff to be. This goes right exactly at the edge of the interfacing, this seam here, and then you trim it to you trim it back to 1/4 inch, flip it the whole works over and iron it. flip the whole works over and iron this seam down so that it's not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to get my ruler back out to make sure nothing's shifted. And for a standard, we had a tiny bit of shifting because I'm flopping it around. For a standard pocket pouch, you want this to be a you want to fold this over by 4.75 inches. 4.75 inches. Line that up on your ruler or use a seam gauge. Or you know what you can also do? You can also cut a piece of cardboard that's exactly the size that you want. I would cut a piece of cardboard to be 6 inches and then just put in a line. So however you do that, you take your ruler out, make sure that's nice and tight. Roll this piece towards yourself while leaving that piece alone. Make sure you're not letting things shift. Pick it up. Pop that straight down. So that goes back like that. However you do it, you want a 4.7 inch fold. 4.75 inch fold, sorry. Fold it up. Okay. And make sure that this line on your interfacing matches with that interfacing. And you can tell. You can just get your fingers in there and tell. Okay. Then you're going to go over to your sewing machine. Well, you're going to pin it or clip it or do whatever you need to do. This is a standard size one, so I should be clipping these so they don't shift. I should be clipping these, but I can cheat a little. I can cheat quite a bit because I have a knee lift, which is like having a third hand, and I have a walking foot on, which a walking foot. And then you're going to come through here, and you're going to iron. And you're going to sew. I can mark this because it's a erasable pen. So you are going to go, see how your interfacing is right here. You're going to sew as close to the edge of that interfacing as you can get, all the way up to here. When you hit this edge, see where the fold is when you hit that edge? When you hit this edge here, you're going to backstitch over this, which will reinforce that corner there. And you're going to do the same thing over here. You're going to be just onto the interfacing. So backstitch here, all the way up to the top. When you get to the top, and I don't know if you can see it or not, when you get to the top, do I have a darker one? I got plenty of darker fabric. I'm going to grab this one. When you get to I'll do it again when I get to the dark one. When you get to the top here, you're going to come off the interfacing, and you're going to go right exactly along. You're going to go right exactly beside the interfacing as close as you can get without going over it. The reason why you're doing that is because when you flip it, this area here is going to be thicker because of that piece of interfacing that's going to get caught up in it. When you do it here, you want it to be off the interfacing so that when you fold it, the area that you leave open is not going to have interfacing caught in it. So if you don't catch any of the interfacing, it'll flip and be a nice smooth line. If you catch the interfacing here and here, then this will be off center to the rest of the piece. It's hard to describe, and I'm not going to do it. So anyway, so catch the interfacing about 1/8 of an inch all the way up. Backstitch, backstitch. Don't worry about your backstitch. Just turn the corner. Backstitch, backstitch. Right there. Anyway, but yeah, you can. There are groups for there are groups that you can find that are for quilting. I like the. Okay, I don't want to sound shitty about these groups. They are amazing groups. You learn a lot. Okay, but every now and again, sometimes a lot of the time, the information that they help you with, which is very, very helpful, assumes that you know a certain minimum of so back up. But yeah, I can get away with less pinning. I can get away with less pinning and clipping and stuff like that right now, just simply because I've got both hands free and I can still lift my foot and I've got the walking foot. So I have a lot more cheater room here. Anyway. So up to the corner, go exactly. Now, so I went over. I'm yanking my computer all over the place because I got the cord tangled up. It's kind of funny. Yeah, see, I'm just off of the interfacing here. Just off of it, right? Now I'm just going right exactly along it. I do backstitch. I backstitch because see this extra piece of, oh, you're not going to see on the front, all the extra thread now. Because I backstitch, instead of that loose thread being here so that it can pop through the hole, it's back here so I can trim it almost completely flat and it won't pop through the hole. I leave it fairly big through here. Yeah, you'll see it in a second. Yeah, it didn't pull it down. Let's see. So now, yeah, see this here? See that thread there? That's my loose. Oh, it's not going to show you. Let's see. Yeah, see my loose thread here, right? So I trim that almost flat, but I've got like an extra 2 stitches that I backstitch to start, which means that when I flip everything, that this is not going to come poking through that hole and be a pain in my ass for later. What am I doing here? There's my microphone. There's things are rattling, making noise. And then again, and staying just on the interface. The reason why I'm staying just onto the interfacing is that way, if for whatever reason, if for whatever reason you decide you want or need to wash this, the last thing I want is for somebody to wash this and on all the interfacing to let go and clump into the middle, because it can happen. So it's taking me I'm not putting any extra time or energy into lining this up the way that I'm lining it up. So I might as well make sure that it's tacked down. And I'm using iron-on interfacing, which is why I'm doing it this way. If you were using sew-on interfacing, it'd be a different thing. So now, take those off. Now, I realized the other day, I've been mentioning this going off the interfacing. Do I iron Lisa's reading cloths, you mean? Yeah, sometimes, yeah. It just really depends. If she's got a cloth out that if she's got a cloth out that she's using all the time, it almost never needs ironing. But if she's had it packed away or if something's going on and it's needed to be washed, then I make sure it gets ironed. I will say that for the most part, the cloths don't need to be ironed because it's just I try to make sure I get good quality cottons. They're not going to have they get bunchy. Yeah, they get bunchy. I don't want them to get bunchy, right? Because that's all the reinforcement that edge is going to get because this is done. I also used closer together stitches for this. But then see this here, see it's on the edge of the interfacing, but I'm not actually on the interfacing because, hope I can show this properly. I hope it shows up. I hope it shows up. Okay. Oh, when you're turning them, if you take your stuff and push it towards because okay, this is not attached to anything and it could pop loose. So if you push it towards the interfacing, then you're holding the interfacing down while you flip it. But that's your own personal hand-eye coordination. So let us see if I can show you what I mean. Because it'll do the exact same thing no matter whether you're using interfacing or batting or whatever. Whenever you're trying to do this stuff and have it flip like this, has to be consistent. So you can see it a little bit. See how it's a little bit thick? It's a little bit thick here because I sewed over the interfacing on this section, right? It's a little bit thick here. So when I do that, it's got that little bit of thickness, right? Well, if I have the thickness here and here, but not through here, because don't forget, if I were sewing over this here, I would have to find a way to make 1/8 of an inch of interfacing turn instead of sticking up. So what you want, come on, you can do it. You can do it. You want to do it right instead of just manhandling it in front of the camera and hoping for the best. It's never gonna look perfect until it's sewn down. See how smooth? See how that line? Okay, that's the opening, right? But when everything's tucked into place, it's a nice single smooth line. But if I were sewing over the interfacing here, but not here, it would go smooth. Then the whole thing would bump up and it'd be visible. It really is a try it for yourself. But if for any reason or at any time you decide to try one of these bags for yourself, which absolutely, I mean, if you have any questions, feel free to message me or comment now or whatever. It's like, I'm trying this bag. But yeah, if you because it creates a little bit of a height difference, and then I always just, this is easier on my hands. I just use the whole ruler. Yeah, it makes everything look just super sharp, right? But yeah, so that's going to be the upright. Now this goes over in the corner until I'm ready with my ouch. If I were doing them differently, I would do one, then finish it, do one, then finish it. But obviously I want to cut corners on time without cutting corners on quality. So the best way to do that is to do each step, do several at a time, do the same step several times at a time. What I could be doing is just folding these. Oh, and by the way, these get a quick iron later. So that's why I wasn't concerned about, and the pen was obviously on the inside. That's why I wasn't concerned about getting the pen out, because I know I'm going to get rid of any potential pen marks later by ironing it. Yeah, you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it more obviously. So sometimes too, because I flipped everything and ironed it, right? Every now and again, something will shift. So when you're folding it in half, just check it's okay. It's okay. See how a little bit of the black is, oh, maybe you can't see it. Yeah, see, it's okay that a little bit of the black is going to show, as long as there's the same amount of black for the entire thing. Does that make sense? If you have a 1/4 of an inch of black sticking up over here and no black sticking up here, then you're going to want to either fiddle it into place if you've got the good pinching and finger strength, or even go back and re-iron it. Again, if you're making it for yourself and you don't give a shit, then you do what you're going to do. If you're making it because you want people to give you money, then you go back and you re-iron, right? So basically what I do, this is stuff that I do and it doesn't even look like I'm doing it, but while I'm lining this up, I'm also checking how much of the black shows through. And again, perfectly imperfect is fine. If it's like, this is like 1/16 of an inch, and this goes to slightly less than 1/16 of an inch, I'm going to leave it, right? I'm not going to agonize over that much. But if it's noticeable, you can come in here, because the interfacing adds extra thickness. You can come in right here and you can tell if it's lining up or not. And if you can't tell, just practice and you'll get it. So that one comes down towards you. There are people that, by the way, that just measure. I'll show you. I'm not going to do it on this one. I'll do it on the next one. Everybody has their own hand-eye coordination and what works for them. What works for me is doing it this way, because I'm not letting go of anything. At every stage, I'm holding it down. Even if it doesn't look like I am, I've got 1 or 2 fingers up on here all the time. Then I get in here and I check again and I make sure nothing shifted. This is a little squirrel in the fabric. I wanted to see how this one lined up. So again, I can sheet what I would if I were doing a bigger bag, then I would have one pin here. I would have one pin here, one pin right. Let me get my clip on. If I were doing a bigger bag like a 2-pocket, if I'm doing a 2-pocket, then I have a couple of pins up in the corner, maybe a couple of pins here, and I definitely would be having a pin where the pocket is meeting the fabric here. So I'd have a pin like right in here somewhere, and then pins at the edge. So 2, 4, 6, and maybe more depending on how comfortable I am. So just to remember, I've made hundreds of these by now, so I've made so many of these by now that I can be, come on, you can do it. I think I know what the problem is though this time. I've made so many of these by now that I can be a little lazy and careless about where I'm pinning because I know you just get the hang of it. You just get the hang of it. That's all I'm going to say. So again, backstitch at this corner. By the way, I don't know, have I mentioned lately that these are reversible? I don't think a lot of people realize that. It's really a simple matter of turning. It's really a simple matter of getting in here and just flipping the pot. You flip the pocket and you flip the whole thing, and then it's in reverse. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna flip it back though, but because there's a lot of people out there there's a lot of people, and I didn't find this out till like not too long ago, like in the last couple of years. There's a lot of people that like the design to be on the inside to be a happy little surprise when they're opening their bags. If that's you, these bags are fully reversible. And back up again there. Do. But yeah, backstitching at the opening means that you're not going to have any loose thread popping through that because you can cut your threads. You can cut that loose thread super close. I want to see how this one ended up because I had it prepped and then sitting in a corner for God knows how long. So it's like that one's still fine. I also I do a quarter. I cut a quarter inch all the way around. I cut a quarter of an inch all the way around, but for the top where the opening is, I do 3/8 of an inch. It gives me more fabric to work with. It gives me more fabric to work with. If something frays a bit or shifts a bit, I don't have to agonize about it. And by the way, for my 1/4 inch, I don't line up. I usually tend to line up with the thread. But if you're not sure, you can also like you can make this in 1 inch. You can make this as big as you want, right? 1/4 inch is my preferred, and I usually cut it lined up to the thread, not the edge of the interfacing. But trim my corners. I never trim the corners. They always say trim the corners like almost till they're almost touching. I never do that because I don't know if it's just the way. I don't know if there's something I can do to fix it, but I've noticed that whenever I do that, the corner almost always pops out on me. Anyway. Da 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 da. Oops. Got a loose thread right there. Hope I cut it on the other one. Yeah, doing a little assembly line where you do this, and then change, and then change, and then change. You end up shaving off a few seconds here and a few seconds there. So you end up getting to take a bunch of shortcuts that save you time, and none of these shortcuts are going to sacrifice quality, which is what's really important. I like to get my corners sorted out first and then flip it. I don't know why. Everybody has their own way of doing things, right? I like to get the corner sorted out first and then flip it because for me, it pops better when I've done it the other way. But I don't know if that's universal or if it's just me. Okay, so there's the squirrel. Ooh, there's a squirrel on the inside. So that's going to be the inside with the squirrel on it. That's the outside, but when you open the outside, you'll see the whole thing. So that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to see from the outside, and then you open it, and then you get to the inside. That's actually turned out. Now I got to go see if I have more of this fabric because I know I did these before, but it's been such a long time. Okay, so then that goes in the pile. I will be right back. I am back. There we go. Yeah. Oh, which puppy? Oh, there's Bruno. Shayla's over there. Shayla is over there. So she's happy. Anyway. Yeah, I had to go blow my nose. What else is new, right? Okay. So, something else that people do to measure this. I can't do it. I don't know why. I don't care. I'm getting a good result anyway. Some people, see if I can do this right, will go like this until they get to the size that they want. They do that, then they do that. How do they do that? And then they get to the size that they want, and then they just fold the whole works over. See that? Right? I suck at that. So basically, if you can just get 4.75 inches. Okay, this is for the standard size that I make, right? You could whatever size works, whatever size you end up doing. So some people just measure them like this, then pick up whatever's going to be their front, and then fold the whole thing over. The reason why I make sure this is at the front, by the way, is because once I've measured this piece of interfacing, I don't have to measure anything else except that fold, right? Well, I've got to measure a bunch of stuff, but anyway, I can already tell. Oh, you guys can you see that? Look how fucked up, look how off center that is. It's like, I tried, because it's like, okay, you do the thing. After you've made 4 bazillion, after you realize, hey, I'm going to be making these by the dozens forever and ever and ever, it's like, that looks like it could be faster, so you give it a shot, right? Nope, just doesn't work. For me, it's go over, but that is the end. That is whatever method you use to make that particular fold happen. That's what you have to do. So this is mine. This is my fold. But whenever I've tried to do it the other way, I don't feel like I have enough control over where the fabric is going. I feel it, but it's me. It's 100% me. I don't feel like the fabric is going anywhere. What am I doing? That's what I'm doing. Okay. I'm hearing a rattling noise. I don't know if you guys are hearing it. It's just the laptop's leaning. The laptop was ever so slightly leaning against a lamp that I've got back there, which was making the lamp rattle against the... Oh, my iron is turning itself off, so I just check, make sure that's fine. I say this all the time, though. I say this all the time when I'm doing this. I say... I am showing you, whenever I'm talking about how I do something, this is the way I do it. That if the way that you do it gets the same result by a slightly different method, then that is the right way for you to do it. So you just make sure everything's all lined up. This is what I do. Okay, this is what I do when I've got things set up properly. This is what I do. I'll show you. We'll go up there. We'll go up there. Okay. So what I do is I pinch the end here. I don't let go. And then I flip it. So I'm holding on to both ends, right? Because I've got my knee lift. So I can make my foot go up and down. I can make my foot go up and down without having to let go of anything. So then ideally I don't let go of this. Back up. Let's see. And then I go forward. At some point, we know I'm going to get lazy and let that go. But I've also got my whole hand spread. I've got my whole hand spread, and I am pressing down slightly. I'm not like, but I am pressing down a bit. Bring it around. Thumbs over here. I know you can't see it because of the glare, but I'm holding everything nice and still. Then I'm holding that. I lightly pull everything out to here and here. Make sure nothing's shifted. Go forward. Couple of back stitches. Everything should be holding itself together by now. And I will point out that the most important thing I'm doing is I'm going slow. I can stop right here on a single stitch and make an adjustment if I need to. When I'm doing this, I would never think of trying to go fast. Okay, I went fast because I knew I was backing up. And I'm speeding up a little bit because I'm getting near the end. There. But I have the advantage. I have the advantage of my walking foot. I have the advantage of my walking foot, which means it's okay. I've had the advantage of the walking foot, which means nothing is pushing my fabric out of place. And I had the advantage of a knee lift, which lets me help position things without having to let go. Because normally you're letting go and back here, right? And I didn't have to let go. I kept. Anyway, if you end up sewing in bulk like this, it is worth getting used to. It is worth. I would never buy a machine like my other machines. They don't have walking feet. This is the only machine I have with a walking foot. If you can get a machine with a walking foot for about the same amount of money as another machine, as long as everything else is feeling pretty equal, God, I'm over explaining it, aren't I? If you have an opportunity to get a machine with a walking foot, it is worth considering. But to be perfectly honest, I don't break up my walking. If I'm making one thing, I don't get the walking foot's already here. I mean, not walking foot, the knee lift. The knee lift is already here. So yeah, that's fine. No, it's knee lift or walk. Okay, knee lift. If you have an opportunity to get a machine with a knee lift, it is worth considering, but it's not worth, I would not like, if I had two machines that were nearly identical and for an extra $600, I can get one with a knee lift, I'm not doing it. My other two machines don't have a knee lift. A knee lift would be nice. A knee lift is helpful in a lot of ways, but I would not consider a knee lift unless it was like this was the machine I wanted, and it happened to come with a knee lift. If you have two machines that are, these machines are both pretty, these machines are similar in quality, and for an extra $30, I can get the one with the knee lift, then you might want to consider a knee lift. Don't invest just to get a knee lift. Pinning is cheaper. Don't spend hundreds of dollars for a knee lift. Don't do that. But anyway, yeah, this one's going to fight back. See, every now and again, that interfacing breaks loose. It's not the end of the world. It isn't. It's not the end of the world. You just got to fiddle it into place. Hold it tightly fiddle it into place, right? Fiddle it into place. Hold it tightly against the seam allowance that you're folding over. Pop it into place. And then it just snaps back into place. And just do the same thing at the other end. Okay, I'm getting a little bit mad at this camera. I think I know what the problem is. with this camera, though. Let me go see if I can fix it. Okay. When it's not cooperating, you may have to come back and do it once or twice, just to because trying to fight this back into place it's a losing battle, because it gets bunched up, it stays bunched up, it doesn't want to cooperate. But if you just unfold it and unfold it and refold it a couple of times, it'll usually pop back into place for you. If you hit your absolute worst case scenario, then if you're using iron-on interface, and just fold it completely inside out again, and then just hit it with the iron right quick and then start over from there. It's a pain in the ass, but it happens and you get used to it. Anyway, so a knee lift, I wouldn't have missed it. I wouldn't have missed it if I didn't. I'm not going to miss what I don't have. I would never suggest investing. Like I said, if it's like, for an extra $30, I can get a knee lift. Or I had one machine that had the opening. It had because the knee lift pops in. The knee lift just pops in. There's a hole right there, right? And I had a machine that had the hole with a little plastic cap on it, and you could go buy a knee lift for like $50-$60. I never did buy the knee lift. For that particular machine. And if I knew then what I know now, I would have bought the knee lift for it. But I would never. I've seen machines. I'm harping on this because I've seen machines that are actually lower quality machines that happen to have a knee lift, and because they have the knee lift, they're like $200-$300 more than anything else. So when you put your ruler in here, don't be surprised if it's off a little bit. If it's not perfectly straight, there's, short of buying yourself a robotic machine to do your sewing for you, as long as it's not like really bad, it's fine. It's fine. If it's like, I don't know, I'm a lot more picky because I sell stuff, but like, I'll make two bags, right? I'll do 2 bags, and if one is like, oh, hey, I fucked this one up a little bit, I'll say, hey, Lisa, I fucked this one up a little bit, and if she can't see a problem, she'll just take it and use it for a future deck. So, how much of a tolerance how much of an intolerance you're going to see is very much in the eye of the beholder. Anyway, so now we're on to walking feet. If you have an opportunity, if you have a machine with a walking foot or an opportunity to get a walking foot, they are magical. You can only do basically straight stitching and certain types of zigzag stitching. Anything that requires it to go. This one here is it's some sort of patented technology. I don't know if you're going to see, but it's integrated right into the foot thing. I don't know how to describe it, but oh, go cook dinner. Go cook dinner, Elf. Anyway, overstating a walking foot. A walking foot, if you're doing a lot of sewing, I don't know how to describe this. It's like, I think it's okay. I think a walking foot is worth investing in and worth spending a little time practicing, learning how to use them a bit. They are definitely worth it. I am all about the walking foot, even though, like, when it's time to do the decorative stitches, I'll take off this foot. I've just started using my piecing foot for putting quilt stuff together, and I like that better than the walking foot. But the walking foot gets you a nice, once you get the hang of the walking foot, which is a very short learning curve. It's not a huge difficult thing to learn how to do. Once you get the hang of the walking foot, you can it gets you a nice, smooth, even feed, especially if you have a problem with your material bunching, where it kind of creates these little bunches in front of the needle, and then every now and again it just needs to make a pleat to fix what you did. It's hard to describe. If you're fairly new at sewing, you'll probably encounter it sooner than you think. But yeah, a walking foot just gives you a nice, smooth, even feed. You get much nicer results. And they are, in my opinion, worth it. And it depends on what you're getting and where you're going to get it. You can get a walking foot for as little as like $30. But I will say that if you only do the occasional, if you have a sewing machine to do an occasional this and if you're not working on big projects and have no intention of building up to bigger projects, a walking foot isn't really all that necessary. But a lot of machines are now coming with, a lot of newer machines are coming with a walking foot already in. Whenever you buy a sewing machine, you're going to get 3 or 4 feet and 2 or 3 of this and 1 or 2 of that. A lot of sewing machines now are coming with a walking foot anyway. So if you already have a walking foot, it's worth practicing with, getting the hang of it. If you are planning on doing a lot of sewing, it's worth picking one up. But I will say, well, no, if you're doing only straight stitching and not decorative stitching or anything like that, you could drop your walking foot on your machine and just never have a reason to take it off again. So anyway, that is your TED Talk on sewing machines. Oh, speaking of TED Talks, so what do you guys think about those New Jersey drones? That's been freaking everybody out all over the news. Anybody heard of those yet? Anybody pay enough attention to the news to hear about those I keep saying drone attacks, and it's like there's no actual attack. What the fuck? All those drone sightings, they're everywhere. I just saw a thing last night. I saw a thing. This kind of got my attention. I saw a thing, and there's a bit of logic here. I saw a thing where somebody was just very matter-of-factly saying, well, the Chinese government, and it's true, there's no lie here, because it's the Chinese government and a lot of other foreign entities have been buying up farmland in the United States, and some of it, and a lot of it's in areas that are near military bases and stuff like that. So the idea of drones being launched to spy on the idea of spy drones being launched from within the U.S. That's nothing new, considering how much foreign ownership there is of farmland. It's like, oh wow, okay, so maybe it's just the stereotypical everybody's spying on everybody's shit that's happening, right? Except for then, last night I'm minding my own fucking business. I click and here's a video of the exact same phenomenon happening in China. It's like, you know, people in this Chinese city saw this swarm of drones coming. It's like, what? So I'm watching the news. I'm kind of trolling the news, like with avid interest about this drone shit that's happening. Because it's like, what the fuck is going on? Because it turns out that there's a huge amount of it happening in New Jersey, Missouri. There's a whole bunch, about 7 eastern states. There's a whole bunch of it that's been happening, but now people are stepping up and saying this is nothing new. And it's like, well, wait a second, why are we just hearing about it now then? I guess the reason why we're hearing about it now is because more people than ever are looking up and noticing it. But I've been seeing some weird ass shit. And it's you're kind of like you're watching it though, and you're going like, okay, well, AI is a thing. So how much of it's actually real? People get like, okay, I saw one last night, and I already know what it was. I saw one last night, and this guy in this area, Vancouver area, he's like driving down the highway. He's going, "Oh my God, there's this drone thing," and they're filming out of their car as they're driving down the highway, right? And it's like, well, basically, we have like 4 different ski resorts, 3 or 4. We have Grouse Mountain, Cypress Mountain, Mount Seymour. We have 3 different ski resorts that are that you can see from the highway, depending on where you are on the highway. And so then the guy says where he is, like, oh yeah, I'm we're coming in from Langley and we're here. It's like, but that's Mount Seymour. And if there's haze on the ground, this matters. I'm babbling in a circle, but it's like if there's haze on the ground, if the ground level is a little bit hazy, and this area here is known for ground fog and light hazing along the ground in the wintertime. Anyway, what they were seeing was Mount Seymour, a ski resort. They were seeing the Mount Seymour ski resort, and because there was enough of a bit of a haze in the air, just a light haze, you can still see for a long way, but you're not seeing as clearly as you think you are, right? So because there was a little bit of haze at ground level, they're seeing this light. They're seeing the lights of the ski resort over here, thinking that they're seeing something that's a lot closer from a different angle. And it's like, because I was watching the thing of it, and it's like, you're moving, but what you're looking at isn't moving. And then I realized, oh, you're looking at the ski resort, right? But it's like, I'm watching some of these videos and it's like, that ain't a ski resort. Like, that's a helicopter chasing 2 drones. Like, what the fuck's going on? Anyway, what do you guys think? What do you guys think is going on? Like, okay, I think whatever's going on, I think the US government knows exactly what's going on. And I think it's really weird that if it was harmless, not harmless, but it was like, a lot of people are like, well, those are military drones. Military drones are up in the air for one reason, or those are military drones that we're seeing. Government doesn't want to admit why. The government doesn't want to admit what they're doing over civilian areas, so they're just pretending that it's swamp gas. You know, that old stuff, right? It's like, oh, you're not seeing anything. Oh, no, you're seeing a helicopter. It's like, dude, I know what a fucking helicopter looks like and sounds like. Those things don't look like a helicopter. They don't sound like a helicopter. They don't act like a helicopter. What the fuck is going on? Anyway, I was watching stuff. I was deep diving way too much about these drones. Some of them, like I said, the local guy who, oh my God, we just saw a drone, blah, blah, we don't know what it is. It's like, dude, it's Mount Seymour. It's a ski resort. And I suppose a lot of people coming up into this area don't realize that you can see the you can see the ski resorts from downtown. You can see Cypress and Grouse Mountain from downtown Vancouver. So it's like, as a matter of fact, Cypress, there's a bus. It's like they're really close, right? But New Jersey doesn't have ski resorts. Like, what the fuck? Something else that you can do to measure your stuff is there's a ridge that forms right here when you fold everything. You just put your ruler along the ridge and you go, okay, that lines up. And then you can just go do the thing. One thing to keep in mind is that if there is a little bit of shifting, along this part, it'll change the size of your pouch a little bit, but as long as it's just minor, it won't wreck anything. I'm not going to do it on purpose to make it happen, but as long as the inside is where it needs to be. But yeah, so I'm watching this drone stuff. Even Joe Rogan is talking about it. I mean, I don't know what the deal with Joe Rogan is, but he seems to be even people who don't like him are interested in the topics that he's covering. I think it's because they're interested in who he's talking to, because love him or hate him, he talks to some pretty credible people. And he's talking about it on his podcast, and some of the people that he's talking about are like, whoa, why is that dude saying that? I don't know how to describe that, but anyway, I don't know. Oh, there's only 4 of you. That's fine. Nobody's obligated to respond. I am more than welcome. I'm more than happy to speculate out loud to myself for the next 4 hours. But anyway, yeah, this drone shit though is it's like, are they really drones? What are we really seeing? But what I thought was really interesting, and don't forget, politics being politics, it's really, really easy to go, oh, well, you know what, like China, Russia, and a whole bunch of foreign countries, people from foreign countries come to the States, because obviously melting pot society, we have the same thing going on in Canada. It's very likely that some of those people are people who really, like, they arrested a guy trying to go back to China after catching him flying a drone. This is in California. They caught a Chinese guy. He was flying a drone over or near a U.S. Air Force base and got arrested as he was trying to leave the country. It's like, so, oh, okay, well, you don't want to be paranoid, and you don't want to look at every immigrant as a source of suspicion. But at the end of the day, it also makes sense that foreign governments, if they can sponsor somebody to buy some property, hey, we'll help you buy some property. All you got to do is ignore our buddies coming onto your land once in a while and launching a drone. You don't know. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but you also don't know. And like I said, so people were talking very matter of factly, going, well, China does have really good drone. China has really good drone technology, and there's a lot of people with Chinese government ties who have bought farmland throughout the United States in various areas. It's quite reasonable to assume, and that's fine. It's like, okay, that's, we know our own governments engage in the same behavior, so it's okay, fine. And then you find out, then you're like, okay, yep. So no matter what it is, as long as they're not nuclear tipped warheads, I don't care, and it just makes for good gossip, right? And then you find out that, oh well, China's got the exact same problem. So no. No, even if that might be a small percentage of what's going on, it's also happening in China. And apparently it's also happening in a lot of other countries. That this was it Brazil? There was somebody taking videos of a drone, and the problem is that sometimes there's like 20 or 30 of them at the same time. This is why people are getting freaked out. If I spot what I think is a single drone somewhere over Vancouver, I'm going to go, whatever. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to be concerned. But apparently they're spotting like swarms of like 20 to 50. Lights on, lights off. They're spotting them they seem to be being chased by helicopters and stuff like that. It's getting really weird. And I think that even if the truth is, oh, well, we as your government, half of what you're seeing is U.S. military drones while we investigate this, that's fine. I just want to know. I just want to know. But yeah, it's getting weird. It's getting things are. Maybe it's just that time of year when people have nothing better to do. I don't know, but yeah, something weird's happening. I hope it's ET getting ready to say hello. I hope it's ET going, well, we're going to take a look around, see how you hairless apes are doing, and if we like what we see, we're going to stop and visit. Hopefully that's all that it is. I like to be really careful. I'm just sort of off camera here. I like to be really careful when I flip these because I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but every now and again, I just had the same issue on one of the other ones. But if the interfacing, because it very, very easily pulls away. That's another reason why you want to catch it with the sewing machine. Oh, and the one piece that I never added, the reason why you don't have to, the reason why when you've got this piece inside out, the reason why you don't want to sew into the interfacing along this section here, the reason why that's okay is because this is where the top stitching is going to go. So you don't want to catch it. You do not want to catch it. You want to sew just off the interfacing and get it flipped. And it might be fiddly. It might be fiddly to flip it if it pulls away, which is fine. It can pull away. Because once this is done, the elastic is going to go in here, and then I'm going to top stitch the entire top, which means that this is going to get properly sewn down anyway. Because you do want all the interfacing is properly sewn down. And that is the one thing that you want to make sure you've got going on. So yeah, anyway, I'm watching the drone stuff. I find that stuff, it's one of those things. Okay, here's another thing. Like I love listening to new thoughts and new ideas about flat earth theory. I don't believe in it. I think it's just I don't think there's any such thing as a flat earth. I don't believe in that at all, but I find the topic interesting, and I find it interesting how and why people might believe that stuff, right? Because I remember back when the Flat Earth Society was new. It was shiny and new, and there was also no internet, and as far as I knew back then, it was a joke. It was just a kind of like the Pastafarians, the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. It was just a joke. It was, as far as I was ever aware, the Flat Earth Society was a bunch of people that knew better and were having fun with theories. They didn't, it's like, no, the Earth is not flat, but it was more like the whole, if the Earth was flat, how would we prove it mathematically? How would we prove that the Earth is flat? As, like I said, for shits and giggles. Now, what caught my interest is not what caught my interest. I think there's a whole lot of, I think it's like, ooh, this is interesting. This is interesting. It's like mixing vinegar and baking soda. I'm under no delusion that I'm somehow creating some new fuel source, right? So that's me. That's what I always thought about flat Earth. I think it's fascinating. I think it's very, very sad that, as far as I know, it started off as a big joke by a bunch of people who were just having fun. Well, if this piece of math, if Newton's theory of gravity is wrong, then this could be correct. If isn't this funny? And then all of a sudden people are joining because they believe it's true. That's kind of how I see it, because my understanding of how it started was, so anyway, so this is where I get myself in trouble. Because it's like, I can go, oh, did you hear about the latest flat earth theory? Oh, what are you, a flat earth? No. Why would I be a flat? I think it's interesting. I think their theories and thoughts and ideas are interesting. Just like when your 3-year-old brings you a drawing and wants you to put it on the fridge and tells you this fantastic story about what it is, and all you can see is crayon swirls. Like, it's just interesting. It's just, anyway. This is where I get myself in trouble, because I think any theory This is the fucked up part. This is where I really get into the fuck upness. I think any theory, as long as there are people who, I think any theory, no matter how crazy, deserves to be investigated, because you're not going to find the truth until you rule out the bullshit. And you can't rule just by saying that's bullshit. That doesn't rule it out. Rule out the bullshit. Throw these flat earthers into a fucking rocket, launch them into orbit, and then come back and tell me the earth is flat, motherfucker. Like, prove it. But I digress. That's why I'm finding this drone thing to be so interesting. It's like I do believe in ET, and I also believe in duck blinds. So it's like, well, if I was ET and I had an interest, even if it was just interest the way I'm interested in animals in the zoo, yeah, it needs to be investigated, and it needs to be investigated seriously. So it's like when I'm seeing, what did I see? I didn't see this on Joe Rogan. I saw this in another video. And somebody is just matter of factly going, well, yeah, like, I mean, we've, for the last several decades, we've got plenty of proof that the Chinese government is behind buying up certain, the Chinese government buys farmland around and near military bases, and they've been using those. It's like, okay, if that's a belief, then we need to be looking at this, right? And then, like I said, you go to China. You go to YouTube and you go to whatever, and you're seeing these people in China filming the exact same things that they're filming in New Jersey. Something's going on. Is that one? Yeah, that won't work. That one's too small though. So anyway, I don't believe in a flat Earth, but I do believe in math, and I think that if people are using sound mathematical principles to prove a flat Earth, then we need to ask ourselves not whether or not now sure, investigate, is the Earth actually flat, or is our math flawed, right? If this sound mathematical principle proves a flat Earth, then we need to investigate, because obviously there's a problem with the math. If we have this many people that believe in a flat Earth, telling them that they're fucking idiots for believing it doesn't fix the problem of them believing it. It makes them double down on their beliefs. Anyway, we have drones going over. We have people, and okay, we're calling them drones now, but what did we call them 30 years ago? UFOs, right? We're calling them drones now because we called them UFOs 30 years ago because we had no basis for comparison. Well, not even 30 years ago. Like the word UFO, unidentified flying object, that is a word that came to us from the 1950s. That's 70 years ago. So it's like 70 years ago, we used terms like that because we didn't have fucking drones. Now we have drones. So now we have a basis. Now we are starting to, we have a basis for comparison to what we're seeing. And even some of the people that are seeing stuff in some of the videos that I saw, it's like, but that's not a drone either. Like something that looks like a fireball. Oh, that's just a shooting star. And I saw a shooting star once where it came in and it was like, and it lights up for like 7 or 8 seconds as it's going across the sky, right? And then it winked out. But there was also a meteor shower happening at the time, and yada yada yada, and that's fine. But it came in, it went in a straight line. It hit the level of atmosphere where it started, and then as it's going, it's slowly fading until it winks out. It's like, okay. But now we're getting these things, so it's like, okay, are some of these things, are some people seeing meteors? Okay, that makes sense. But what they're filming is something that comes in, it's blinking and flashing. It glows red for a minute, then goes back to blinking and flashing, then changes directions 2 or 3 times. Then a couple of more show up, and then they're like doing this thing, and then they all go up or down at the same time. And it's like, well, wait a second, something's going on. If it's a natural phenomenon, it's like if it's a poorly understood natural phenomenon, then get out there and tell us what the fuck it is. Figure it out, right? If it is ET, then get out there and say hello. Figure it the fuck out and stop lying. I believe with all my heart and soul that we are being lied to about what they are. what if it's just simple? Okay, but here's the thing. Have you ever listened to Dr. Stephen Greer? I think his last name, Stephen Greer. He seems to know a lot. I was listening to him, on the drones. Oh, yeah. But this is the thing. But think about this. Back in the 50s, people said, oh, I saw a UFO. What did it look like? What were they describing? Think back. Saucer-shaped. What is a drone? If you're not aware, okay, so a drone could be, there are drones that are like yay big. They're flying around at night. Their propellers are hidden inside casings. A lot of what was reported as flying saucers back then would be reported as a drone today. So it's like, I just keep fucking with my camera. Anyway, because I'm over here. I'm on that camera. I can just show you guys what I'm doing over here. So basically, we now have a point of reference. If we had our modern references for what we were seeing back in the 50s, would we be saying this is a UFO and I don't know what this is a flying saucer and I don't know what it is, or would we be saying I saw a drone? I've been saying this for I said this to Lisa. My God, I said this to her like a long time ago. I said, look where we live. Where we live in Vancouver. We're like along the flight path. We have the Vancouver airport out near Richmond. So when the planes are coming in, they come in over here and they're banking and they're turning and they're doing this and they're doing that. We also have helicopters. We have medical helicopters, traffic helicopters, police helicopters. We have helicopters all over the place. We have small aircraft. We have two different airports. We have seaplanes that go from Vancouver Harbor over to Victoria or various spots along the island, because we have Vancouver here, and then we have the Juan de Fuca Strait, and we have Vancouver Island as all part of BC, right? So we've got planes, we've got planes of all sizes and helicopters, commercial planes, private planes. We've got something in the air at all times above us here, all times, day and night. Vancouver Airport is busy enough that there's a plane taking off or landing. Like they have like 2 to 5 minute intervals. They're really fucking close together, right? So it's like, okay, so now you have, oh, on my way to pick you up for Starbucks. Oh, I have to get off the internet in a minute. Okay, anyway. So we've got, I'm just going to finish this. I'm going to finish the one I'm on to get my ass downstairs. So anyway, my thinking gets really simple. It's like, it doesn't matter. I think we've reached a point where it doesn't matter who's right or who's wrong. It is time to investigate this seriously and start being far more forthcoming about what is going on. Because I think like back to this area here. If there was a drone up in the sky right now, right this minute, the vast majority of people in this area wouldn't even think to look up because we're so fucking used to there always being something up there. We wouldn't look up. And if we did look up, oh, it must be a helicopter. It must be this. It must be that. It would take a lot for us to go, we're seeing something that we shouldn't be seeing. And then, of course, like I said, we've got ski resorts that in the right 4:49. Ooh, I got 7 minutes. Yeah, more info on the drones for real. But like I said, it's kind of like I think we've reached a point. This is the thing. Okay. So where we live here, we've got so much traffic in the air above us right now that if ET was up here, if ET was hovering above us right now looking down, it wouldn't even occur to us to wonder what it is, because we see so much shit up in the air right now and don't give it any thought. So we have that as a thing that's working against us, but kind of like the flat earth thing. Okay, kind of like the idea of the flat earth thing. And that is the days of just saying, you're just seeing an airplane or a helicopter, so stop thinking about it. Those days are long past. Like I said, people are like, no such thing as a flat earth. But I still think, even though we can go, there's no such thing as a flat earth, it's like, then why are these people coming, regardless of what you think of the overall situation, why are they constantly developing mathematical models that on the surface at least prove that it's possible? That doesn't fit. It's like, So why are we not investigating? We need to invest. Even the absurd. We need to. We've got like, how many billion people do we have on this earth right now? There's always somebody out there that's willing to investigate the absurd and put the brain power behind it to actually figure out what's going on. If there's something wrong with our mathematical model, and it seems to be, it's like, well, if you can mathematically prove a flat earth, then there's something wrong with our math. That's my thinking. So instead of just shrugging it off and going, that's not possible, why are we not going, how are they able to keep coming back up with these theorems? And I get it. The answer may be super simple. The answer probably is, the answer could just simply be drone technology as the military has it is way more advanced than people realize, and people are just now starting to look up and notice that national defense measures. And maybe that's all it is. This is part of an ongoing national defense measure that the public has not been, this might be a 30-year-old public defense measure involving top secret technology, blah, blah, blah. Then tell us, just say, look, this is, you're seeing drones near there because they belong to us. They're part of top secret defense activity. And no, we're not at liberty to tell you what it is. Like, why wouldn't they even say that? Because I'll tell you right now, if they said that, a lot of people will go, oh, okay. At least we know what it is. They'd be going, well, why are you doing that? It's like, well, dude, the world's a big, scary place nowadays. So yeah, the more advanced society gets, the more advanced our defense technology needs to be. Oh, they won't even commit to saying that. Oh, it's a helicopter. That's not true. I've seen. There's way too many videos showing that that's not true. So what the fuck is? And if it is ET, stop fucking lying. Because all those congressional hearings about alien technology and all of this shit that is happening at the same time that we're seeing things in the air. That's not a coincidence. Anyway, I'm babbling because this goes into a big circle. This is a great big situation with great big shit going on, because this is happening in more than just the States. It's happening more and more. People are looking up, taking videos, reporting on it, and it doesn't seem to matter who you are or where you are. Oh yeah, I'm sure they have advanced technology. Yeah, they absolutely. Here's the thing: we already know this. The government. This is what freaks me out. Yeah, they are not sharing. The funny thing is that absolutely the government has technology that they're not going to share with the public, because if they share it with the public, then foreign adversaries can steal it and use it. That makes sense. So why aren't they just saying that? It's like, oh, well, this is part of a top secret operation and we are not at liberty to discuss the details, but please be aware that there's no risk. Okay. I am never talking and texting again, I swear. Anyway, now I get up on my feels. Like I said, it's like, it doesn't matter what the truth is. What matters is that the conversation is being completely shut down and there's no good reason for it. Let's do that. Anyway, I've had my 4-minute rant. Which one did I do? Remove that one. I'm back. I've had my rant. Life is good. Hey, I had both. Were you guys hearing an echo today? Because it looks like I may have had both microphones going. Anyway, no, I do think that this drone situation, I think we're going to get, I think there's, regardless of what's going on that may involve government top secret, blah, 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 blah. I think there's stuff going on where these drones are concerned that they don't have any control of whatsoever. And so because they're not sure, they don't want to get caught lying, which is weird because they get caught lying all the time. And then just, oh, well, it's national security, don't you know? So we weren't at liberty to tell the truth until we had this sorted out. So now that we know, it's like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to get going. I'm going to go meet the wife. I'm going to tuck those into the corner so they don't, because I still, you got to make sure when you're tucking those away that these aren't being, once I get to this stage, this stuff sits in a corner and I don't touch it. I don't want things to fray, because if anything starts fraying, it might make it really hard to get the elastic and everything sewn in. So Everything else is going to stay exact. I've only got 3 left though. I got all but 3 done today. That's not bad. I'm going to get going and go meet the wife because then I get Starbucks. And since I've got no money coming in, I don't have to pay for it. I'm so mean. Anyway, I will tell Lisa happy holidays. Thanks for hanging out with me and keeping me company, guys. You guys all make sure you're having a good Christmas. Do whatever makes sense to you. Don't worry about what the rest of the world's fucking doing. Do what makes you feel good. And if they don't like it, fuck them. And otherwise, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I don't know if I'm going to be back at all. Lisa's off. I forget when Lisa's off to. Lisa's got plenty of time off over the holidays. I'm back into catch-up mode. I'm not opening the shop up again unless something changes. Right now, I'm expecting end of January. I'm probably coming back at the end of January no matter what. Something really weird is going to have to happen where Canada Post is concerned for me to change my mind on that. But I don't think I have too much to worry about that way. But another month, then I'm not getting stuck. Another month is not going to hurt me personally. It's not going to hurt us financially. Might as well wait out the bullshit and make sure things are nice and solidly back to normal. Take a nice extended vacation never hurt anybody. So end of January, unless something changes. I might come back before that, but end of January for sure. And anyway, in the meantime, again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Festivus, Happy Holidays, Happy whatever you celebrate. And I will see you soon. And I don't know what Lisa's up to. I don't think she's doing much of anything for live streaming or anything like that. But anyway, you guys have a great weekend, Christmas, all the things, and I will see you soon.